Headpieces, hats, wigs, they go by so many names, but this collection made by a Detroit artist is showcasing them as art with a significant meaning behind each and every one. Now joining us is that artist, Kweku Osei-Bonsu, who created the exhibit Whiggs, Not for Sale, which is showing at Spotlight in Detroit. Thank you for being with us.
So glad to be here.
It's so glad to have you.
So now, I know you have this display, but what kind of emotions are you trying to spark with this display that you have
Well,
here?
you know, this is Black History Month, but we're making Black history every day. And so my hope is that this will spark honor and pride in everybody who witnesses it. You know, this is about acknowledging the extraordinary and the ordinary and making sure that people can see their history in others, and it creates a sense of community around that.
Yeah. Now tell us about the concept and the inspiration behind your creations, because it's like a piece of current and living Black history.
Correct. Yes. This is each of these headpieces, aptly named wigs, are based off of contemporary Black hairstyles as well as pre-colonial African symbolism. And so, you know, marrying those two things helps us to interact with the past as well as the present, and making sure that we're continuing to make history as we live on.
All right, now tell us about the pieces that you've brought in.
Absolutely. So there are 9 headpieces on display in total, but these 3 are particularly special. We've used materials of all sorts, ceramics that were hand-built. I've hand-dyed much of these things, rug tufted these pieces here, beaded a lot of this myself, and all of the material that's used is upcycled. And so we're also making sure that we have a positive impact on our planet, as well as commemorating ourselves.
Now, this is super thoughtful.
We try.
And Tati, like you said, not for sale?
Not for sale.
Not for
Talk
sale.
about that part.
Yes, please.
Well, you know, I think there's no misunderstanding of the fact that at one point in time, people within our culture were literally for sale. But even now, when we talk about commemorating the contributions of Black people in our society, a lot of times people are underpaid, undersupported. And so when we talk about not for sale, these things aren't for sale because they're heirlooms. These are artifacts that are made presently but will live on beyond this moment. And so they're not for sale. They're for observation, engagement, interaction, but that's where it ends.
That's where it ends. All right, so all of these pieces are made by hand, like he said. What was that process like?
Wow, it was a long one. It took about 6 months to develop every single piece. But you know, every headpiece starts with an interview. We interview each subject, and then the interview informs the headpiece. We then take a portrait of the subject in their headpiece, and then those portraits are put on display. The story is really being told. We've done everything to make sure that we incorporate every part of the process in the display of the art.
So when you say we, how many?
Wow, this is a communal effort. So I have to give love to Christian Najjar and Donovan Glover, who were the photographers behind this. I have to show love to Monica Blair, who took those interviews and created a very beautiful musical accompaniment to go with the show. It was truly a communal effort, as most things that I do are.
It feels so multi-sensory. You got music, and there are the portraits, and there's like abstract prints that you have.
Yes.
They're like basically all sold out. I don't know if you can hook you up. I think there's like one available out of like a dozen.
They're doing really well, but there are more for sale. You know, as far as the headpieces, they are not for sale. But again, interacting with the headpieces means that you can purchase portraits of them and observe them within your own home.
I love it. Well, give us the details of exhibit and how people can see it for themselves.
Absolutely. The exhibit is on display at Spotlight until March 30th. We'll be having a closing reception, but at Spotlight, you can purchase portraits, abstract, as well as formal portraits, as well as merchandise, which I have here.
T-shirt action.
Yes.
Everybody loves a good T-shirt.
Everyone loves a good T-shirt.
Kweku, thank you so much for being with us.
Glad to be here.
I love the work you're doing.
Thank you.
We got to chat about it when I went down. Anyway, love story, but thank you.